Hello, everybody. Welcome into a Friday edition of KC Sports Tonight. I am Mark Palos, joined by the great Katie Marr as we get you ready for the big Friday night and weekend ahead in local sports. Katie, we have football today, tomorrow, and Sunday. Just for you as a sports reporter here, how exciting of a time is this for us?
This is the week we've been looking forward to all year long. We have high school Friday night and K-State, college on Friday nights. Have your thoughts about it. Saturday, we got football. Baseball as well, and then of course Sunday is the day we've been waiting for since February to have the Chiefs back at home at Arrowhead Stadium, and we're very excited for it.
Yeah, certainly very excited for that Super Bowl rematch. That's going to be our first topic of conversation today. We have a latest injury report out of the Chiefs and Eagles facility. We're going to go through that, starting with the topic everyone's talking about with the Chiefs offense. Wide receiver Xavier Worthy was limited today at practice for the second day in a row. He did not practice on Wednesday, limited Thursday, limited Friday. He is officially listed as doubtful for Sunday's game. Jalen Royals is out. He did not practice all week. The rookie fourth-round receiver, looking for some help from him. So those guys both. Xavier Worthy doubtful, Jalen Royals out. Here are some other names on the injury report, but they are expected to play. We have Trey Smith, Drew Tranquill, Nick Bolton, Hollywood Brown. I mean, these are all big contributors. Chamari Connor, Ashton Gelati, Omar Norman Lott, and Jawan Taylor. But Katie, I want to start this conversation around Xavier Worthy because we saw the reports that he had a dislocated shoulder down there in Brazil, and then we see him out here at practice Thursday and Friday. For me, this was a huge, huge shock. For you, what did you make of that?
I mean, at this point, I think that Xavier Worthy not playing this week, I think him playing this week would feel a bit rushed. I saw him at practice yesterday. You know, he was moving around well. His shoulder was very, very wrapped up. He was going through some drills. He was catching some passes, going around. I think that playing him this week would have been a little bit rushed, and I don't think it maybe would have been the smartest thing long term, because winning this game is not going to win the Chiefs a Super Bowl. Sure, they don't want to go 0-2, but this is not the most important game of the year. And the most important game of the year every year for the Kansas City Chiefs is in the postseason. So I think this is the smart move looking down the road, because they're without Rashee Rice for 5 more games. They need Xavier Worthy healthy. Resting him for a week kind of feels like the smart thing to do, especially against a defense like the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm kind of anxious to see how this all turns out. If the Chiefs kind of thought this would be a longer-term injury, I believe they would have put him on injured reserve and he would miss at least those four games that he would be required to. But with them not placing him on there, it seems by all indications that they think that he will be able to come back before then. But it really gives me a lot of pause here, because this is a guy that the Chiefs, if they want to go to the Super Bowl, if they want to get back to the postseason, they're going to need Xavier Worthy healthy. And every team in the NFL knows now that Xavier has a banged-up shoulder. And what are other teams going to do? They're going to tell their corners, hit Xavier Worthy in the shoulder. And if he's going to be going out there and it becomes an issue, you can't play him out there. Very worried about that with Xavier Worthy. Katie, kind of how do you see that maybe playing out with him not going on IR, but teams they're going to target he's like 165 pounds.
Yeah.
Teams are going to go after him.
Yeah, and that's precisely why I think it's so smart to not play him this week, and why the Chiefs would make a good move in doing so, especially against the Eagles. This is going to be a very heated matchup. Clearly nothing was apparently torn in there. It's not more serious of an injury. Dislocated shoulders are easy to come back from. I don't think it's going to be a long-term issue because they're playing it safe. So I think they're going about it the right way. And also in practice all week, it feels like they've kind of been preparing for this reality. Yesterday at the podium, Matt Nagy talked about how, it took them way too long in the game last week for them to respond to the situation and other guys to really adapt to that next man up mentality. Like, they were visibly shaken on offense for the first few drives after Xavier went down. And that can't happen again. And so I think they've also spent a lot of time in practice this week going over that stuff, saying, okay, this was a challenge that we did face in week 1. We didn't respond to it. Let's respond to it now. So I see maybe the Chiefs going a little more into their, tight end room, because they now are kind of eliminating, when you don't have Rashee Rice and you don't have Xavier Worthy, you kind of eliminate a lot of things you can do on offense. So, maybe they just keep sending Hollywood Brown all the way down the field, and they find guys like Travis Kelce, Noah Gray, Jared Wiley if he's playing, because he didn't play last week. But yeah, I see them using that a little bit more, maybe getting Rashard Smith more in the passing game as well. Isaiah Pacheco, you never know. So I think they've been given this week to prepare for this reality. It's probably going to be the way it is, but at least this time they had more than a few minutes to adapt to the change without Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, hopefully they have a little more time to get some planning. We'll get to their path to victory here in a moment. Now going on the Eagles injury report, they have some guys that are nicked up also. Tight end Dallas Goedert, he did not practice all week. He is listed as out. Running back Will Shipley, the backup for Saquon Barkley. He's a tremendous player, star at Clemson. Really good third down back, plays in the passing game. He is also out. And then Cameron Williams, I believe he's a reserve offensive tackle. He is out there for the Eagles. So there's going to be both teams maybe not going out their full strength, but the Chiefs certainly with I would say a much more key injury potentially with Xavier Worthy not playing in that one. So the betting line after we learned that Jalen Carter will play, Philadelphia Eagles 1.5 point favorites, the over under 46.5 points in this one. So Katie, we know odds makers think that the Eagles are the favorite in this game. I think if you polled football fans across the country, I think they would all say that the Eagles are the favorites in this game. I think it's been a long time since the Chiefs have gone into a game where we can pretty much, I feel like, unequivocally say the other team is better than the Chiefs. So with that in mind, with the Eagles being a very talented team, what do you maybe see as the Chiefs' path to victory here? Because we know they're banged up at wide receiver. We know their running game hasn't been what it was. And then, they had no energy last week in Brazil. What do you think? If the Chiefs are going to win this game, how is it going to play out?
First and foremost, it starts with their defense. Chris Jones admitted at the podium yesterday, Spags admitted they did not play up to their standard in week one. They had no pass rush against Justin Herbert. There was no pressure there. They were just not playing like a Steve Spagnuolo run defense. And, it's week one. So I'm not raising any red flags. I'm not like, oh my God, the British are coming, like, lock everything up. No, like, the season's still going to go on. Like, it's week one. Every team is rusty. Every team is making mistakes and fixing their issues now. Defense got exposed. They have some issues. I have to believe that with a defensive coordinator like Steve Spagnuolo, they truly, as we say in coaches speak, went back to the drawing board this week and reevaluated things and worked on things. And they're taking ownership of the fact that they didn't play well last week against the Chargers. And they know that that's not going to fly this week when you're taking on Jalen Hurts and his arsenal of guys like A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And then, of course, there's the Saquon Barkley of it all. Yeah. So I think it first and foremost starts with the defense playing better. We say defense wins championships. It's not wrong. Like, if the offense puts up 24 points, but the defense stops the Eagles from putting up 20, like, Chiefs win. So I think it starts first and foremost. Defense just needs to play better than they did last week, and they know that, and I have to expect that they will, especially out in that secondary as well. That's going to be a big threat. But I think that also the Chiefs play better when they do have that underdog mentality. So I don't think it ever truly matters what they're favored to do in Vegas's eyes, because they come out, if we learned anything from last season, it's that they've got like voodoo witches in the basement and the tunnels of Arrowhead Stadium, like, working this magic to help them win games.
Yeah.
So I don't think Vegas odds can truly go into a Chiefs game, because these guys kind of thrive when people doubt them and they get to prove people wrong. Like, how many times at the podium after a game, like 2 years ago when they were viewed as underdogs, I remember like Patrick Mahomes would come out and he would just be like, yeah, people doubted us, but we're here, we won, yada, yada, yada. So I think that that's kind of a superpower for them, is taking advantage of the fact that people are doubting them, and that's motivating them.
I honestly think that's an excellent point, because I was just thinking about this right now. I think it has to have been at least 3, I don't even want to sound too crazy, it might be 3-4 seasons since the Chiefs have played a game where they were not basically playing with a target on their back. Mm-hmm. Like, every time the Chiefs have played for the last couple of years, it's been literally the other team's Super Bowl, whether it was the literal Super Bowl or just a random week-to-week game. So the Chiefs, it's going to be interesting to see how things flip here on Sunday, because they've had to play with all this pressure, but now, there's a lot of pressure on Sunday's game, but people are picking the Eagles. But for me, if the Chiefs are going to win this game, it sounds very cliche to say this, but they're going to have to win first down on both sides of the ball, because this cannot be a game where Patrick Mahomes is running for his life. This cannot be a game that gets into a shootout. This has to be a game where the Chiefs control the ball, control the clock, and probably keep Philadelphia off the field, because we saw the Chiefs' offense last week. They don't have their 2 top wide receivers. They are not explosive. They do not have a good running game as of this point. They're going to have to keep Philadelphia off the field, and that's going to be quite a challenge, because I think I mean, the Eagles, you can make a strong argument that they have a much more talented team than the Chiefs. I was going through this, doing some prep work, and the top 100 players in the NFL, so this is obviously voted on by the players, but it's 100 players in the league, and they're the best players in the league. The Eagles have 10 of the 100 best players in the NFL as voted by the players. They have number 1, Saquon Barkley, number 19, Jalen Hurts, Lane Johnson, Zach Bond, A.J. Brown, Jalen Carter, Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, Jordan Mailata, Josh Sweat. That's 10 guys. That's a lot of players. And the Chiefs, on the flip side, have 5. They have Patrick Mahomes, Chris Jones, Travis Kelce, Trent McDuffie, and Creed Humphrey. So kind of staying on this path to victory conversation, for me, if the Chiefs are going to win, they need huge games out of all 5 of these guys. Patrick Mahomes, he plays great. He had a great game in Brazil when his back was against the wall. We have no worries about that. Chris Jones, we need to see a big game out of him. Like last week, the game was on the line, 3rd and 14. He goes inside, Herbert goes outside, game over. The Chiefs don't have a chance to stop. Can't happen this week. Chris Jones needs to have a big game. You were talking about this earlier, wide receiver injuries. Travis Kelce, I mean, you're one of the best players in the league. You've been one of the best tight ends to ever play football. You need to have a big game on Sunday. We saw what happened in the Super Bowl. It didn't look right. Trent McDuffie, you want to be the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. You didn't agree to a deal with the Chiefs this offseason. The pass defense didn't look too great last week, although that could be a little bit of some safety play. Trent McDuffie, we need a big game out of you. And then Creed Humphrey, I mean, we saw the Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was running for his life. Creed Humphrey, you're there, best center in the NFL. We need a big game out of you. So, Katie.
That also goes to the right tackle and left guard issue because
absolutely.
Kingsley Suamataia and Juwan Taylor, I mean, we could probably go on a whole trip talking about Juwan Taylor's false starts.
Yeah, Matt Nagy sounded a little
Travis
frustrated.
Did.
Travis did.
Travis gave it to him on the field. Those two didn't look great to me in game 1. I thought that Josh Simmons looked decent for his first true game in the NFL, but those seemed like issues, and we learned last week that Mahomes' magic is not enough when 2 of the guys in your offensive line are making you run for your life. And then on the other side, safety play, like you kind of touched on, wasn't looking great last week. That pass rush is going to be huge against Jalen Hurts. But also on the flip side, the Eagles are going to bring quite the pass rush against Patrick Mahomes. It's what they did in the Super Bowl last year. If that's not the biggest lesson of it all, I don't know what else could be.
Yeah. No, one thing I'm very anxious to see, though, is how the Eagles kind of come out and play in this game. We saw, obviously, last week before the first offensive snap, Jalen Carter came out and he spit on Dak Prescott on the night that they were raising their Super Bowl banner, a big night there in the stadium. I was very interested to see how the Eagles were going to respond to that success of winning the Super Bowl. And then before the first play of their first game, or the first offensive play, their star D tackle spits on a guy. It just speaks to a lack of discipline within the that can't happen. Cannot happen.
I will say, you know me, I'm coming from a Cowboys fan point of view here. Dak did kind of spit first.
Yeah, he did. But it's just like, if you're a Super Bowl champion.
But it's always the second guy that gets caught for it. We know that. But I mean, I know a lot of Chiefs fans are probably a little mad that they're counting that as his one game of suspension served because now they got to play him.
That's kind of unbelievable. But hey, it's an entertainment business. That's what the NFL. It's the best reality TV show out there is sports. So a lot of stuff going on there on Sunday. I'm sure there's going to be a lot of emotions. We're going to have Neil, Katie, and I believe also Marlia out there on Sunday. So we'll have great coverage. Stick with us here on KCTV5, not only tonight but also Saturday, Sunday night, and then Sunday morning on our Price Chopper Game Day show. A bunch of good content for you there to get you ready for kickoff there, 325 national TV. All right, the Royals. Where do we even begin with this one, Katie? So the Royals lost last night, just a tough one to the Cleveland Guardians. Royals went up 2-0 early in that one. Bullpen kind of loses it. They lose that one 3-2. The Royals are now 74-73, 5 games back of the last wild card spot in the American League. Katie, it kind of felt like last night was it. What are your thoughts?
I mean, they're 5 games back, correct? 5 games? Yeah. Just doesn't – sorry, people are talking.
Yeah.
Confused me for a second. 5 games back from a spot in the wild card round, 15 games to play. When the teams around you are playing better than you, that are in that wild card race, just doesn't feel like they can get it done. If they get it done, I will be so excited for them. It would be so fun to see playoff baseball, hopefully maybe come back to Kansas City like it did last year. But this is just not a team that I think is capable of competing with the other teams in the American League right now when it comes time for the playoffs. So even if they do make it, which would be so cool, they're not producing the runs. They're just not getting it done.
Yeah.
So.
No, you look at the big boys, and the Royals just don't match up with them. No. It is what it is. You look at some of their team stats this year. They are last in the American League in runs. They are last in the American League in home runs. What's the name of the game? Outscoring the other team. The Royals just don't do that. But good news for them, Royals pitching staff has been phenomenal this year. In the American League, they have the second best ERA overall, 3.67. And we were actually talking about this a little bit in the sports office because I know during the season, manager Matt Quattro's come under a lot of fire from fans. Like, they want to see him more animated. They obviously want to see the Royals play better baseball. Who's the easiest guy to pick on? It's the manager, Matt Quatraro. Guys, the Royals have the worst offense in the American League. They have hit the least amount of home runs in the American League, and they have a winning record. Some of that credit has to go to the manager. Like last year when the Royals played so well, and Q was one of the best managers in baseball. Like the guy, he didn't forget how to coach baseball. He didn't forget the rules of the game. It's just sometimes the players don't perform on the field. You know, the Royals had a plan this year. Like it just didn't work out. They knew they needed more bats.
Agree.
What do you
think,
think,
Katie?
Manager's
always going to get the most fire, and whether it's deserved or not, in this case, like you just made a great point. This is still the same manager as last year, but another point, this is kind of the same team as last year. They had a glaring issue, and that was that they didn't produce enough runs. I didn't feel like they did anything to solve that issue this offseason. So I don't know why we were expecting a crazy awesome season out of them that was better than last year. They didn't do anything other than call up Cags and now Carter Jensen. These are two young, exciting rookies. But then they have great games last Saturday at home, and then they don't get put in the starting lineup on Sunday. But then they come in to pinch hit in the bottom of the ninth, draw 2 walks, bases are loaded, can't produce any runs off of it. So there's some questionable decision-making, but also at the same time, this just isn't a roster that's any different from what they were last year, in my opinion.
Yeah, the Royals knew what their flaws were with the roster. They knew they were going to have good defense in the infield. They knew they were going to have good players in the infield, but they knew they needed to get an outfield bat or a bat of some sort. They tried a lot in the offseason. Price tag was just too high. It is what it is. Baseball is a free market. There's no salary cap. You can pay players whatever you want to pay them. Shohei Ohtani got a $700 million deal. I mean, a lot of that's deferred, but Juan Soto got a $765 million deal. A lot of cash there. The Royals are not going to be able to ever sign a player to that contract. It just is what it is. But what they did do was they signed Carlos Estevez to a deal, and he's led the American League in saves. Like this is the formula that the Royals have. Like this year, it just doesn't look like it's worked. Tonight, they start a 3-game set at the Philadelphia Phillies, who are in the running there with the National League East. Then the Royals return home for their last homestand of the season, 3 against the Mariners, who own that last wildcard spot, and then 3 against the Blue Jays, who I believe lead the American League East, a very, very good baseball team. Yes. Then they close out at the Angels and at the A's. So obviously, we're wishing the Royals all the best. They're going to have to go on quite a run here to make the playoffs, but... Yeah. Katie, anything else on that one?
Nope. It'll be exciting if it happens. Would love to see playoff baseball come back to Kansas City, but we got to see them also become the team that they were becoming late in the season last year.
Yeah, hey, and then also tomorrow, sports director Maria Campbell was out there today. There's the Home Run Derby X out there. I think you're going that tomorrow?
I think Neil might be.
Or Neil's going to that one. Okay, we're gonna have some coverage for that one. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff going on there at the Cave. If you're not gonna see postseason baseball, head out there. You can see like Alex Gordon, Lorenzo Cain, those guys hit some dingers. All right. College football, Friday Night Lights, K-State on the road at Arizona in a Wildcat battle. K-State, real rough start to the season, 1-2 so far. They just lost to Army, a service academy, at home. Army ran 63 of the game's final 75 plays, but the Wildcats, K-State, are 1.5-point road favorites at Arizona. Dylan Edwards is going to return, the running back, after missing a few games with an ankle injury. But Katie, K-State 1-2. It hasn't looked good. What's your level of concern with this team? Are they on the ropes before conference play has even begun?
Yes. And I said last week, so I have to own it. Last Friday I said that if they lose to Army, I'm going to ring the alarm bells. And, we can Chris Kleiman said earlier in the week, like, what were his exact words?
He said we're not in a crisis mode, but it's close.
Yes, crisis mode. That's what I was looking for. I said if they lose to Army, they should be in crisis mode. I think they should be in crisis mode at this point. They're 3 points away from being 0-3. Let's just make that clear. They only won their one game by 3 points, and it was, again, to a non-conference opponent.
North Dakota.
Yes. And I was saying yesterday on here with Neil, K-State plays so well at home. It is like almost a lock to, if you want to like pick a team to cover the spread or do whatever, like K-State is a lock at home typically. They play so well. It's a beautiful, amazing stadium that the fans they bring the energy and help them win games. I'm concerned that they've lost a true home game, and they lost a game by going to Ireland that was technically a home game. So they've already lost 2 of their home games this season. They only have so many more.
Mm-hmm. Great
They
point.
didn't play on the road super well last year. So I guess we're going to get that first true test tonight at Arizona, because it's not a Big 12 game technically, because it was scheduled as a home and home before Arizona came to the Big 12, but it is still a Big 12 game. And by any means, I don't think K-State had like the easiest non-conference schedule. Like, Army loves to do this to teams. They rock you with the triple option. Like, no team, barely any teams in college football play the triple option anymore. They don't know how to prepare for it. Clearly, K-State didn't, because of that complete second half domination by Army last week, and just how often they were on the field. It's a 4-yard gain, and then, the defense is on the field for virtually the entire second half. So they're exhausted. It's just Army got the best of them. I don't think Army's a bad team. I just think they had a bad week 1 loss. I don't think North Dakota is like a terrible team either. I mean, a few years ago when K-State won the Big 12 championship, they lost to Tulane at home. And it was like, the sky is falling. And then they ended up winning the Big 12. So they should be in crisis mode. That's not saying this season is over, but now they have to be perfect. There's no room for error. And I'm excited to see how bringing Dylan Edwards back into the equation helps maybe solve that issue a little bit. I've been concerned with their run game, so I want to see if that improves.
Yeah, no, all tremendous points. I think what I'm really interested to see is, can K-State force Arizona tonight to play K-State's football game? I think in the first 3 games of the season, K-State has played all 3 of those games on the opponent's terms. And what really was shocking to me was how they let Army come in to Bill Snyder Family Stadium and dictate the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, K-State, like, Army doesn't
play the triple option, and you're going to like it.
Yeah, like Chris Kleiman, I mean, I was kind of shocked to see the way that he was reacting to this game. He's like, yeah, we knew it was going to be tough. Like, they run a weird game. I'm like, well, it's your job to stop them. Like, there are a bunch of Power 5 or Power 4 teams that have beat Army before. It's not like Army goes on the road and the triple option just confuses everyone and they lose. Like, I mean, K-State allowed Army to come into their house and dictate how the game was going to be played. K-State cannot have that happen ever again this season. We're going to see if that happens. But road favorites on the road down there at Arizona, kind of interesting matchup there. But hey, 8 p.m. kick down there in Arizona, these Friday night games. It's just been a weird start to the season. Don't want to see anything weird happen tonight. But Katie, anything else on that one?
No, but like I said, I really hope that Dylan Edwards being back in the equation makes it all kind of make sense for K-State, because you just hit the nail on the head, like, with saying that K-State hasn't been playing like itself. Maybe that's because they planned for Dylan Edwards all season long.
Tremendous point. Yeah, so, no, and they lost him literally after that muff punt against Iowa State over there in Iowa. It's just been a weird start to the season, and it looks like it has a potential here to snowball on K-State.
It's the curse of the Irish.
Yeah, it is the curse of the Irish. You got to stop that in its tracks tonight at Arizona. We'll see if they can do that. All right, last one, still Friday Night Lights. High school football, big slate of games here across the metro. We're going to be going to a whole bunch. Our game of the week, Lee Summit North against Mill Valley. Neil Jones is out there. We also have several crossover games. Rockhurst taking on Olathe North. We have St. Pius X taking on Gardner Edgerton. A bunch of good games tonight. But Katie, you've seen some of the top teams so far this year. Has any team really stood out to you here in the first couple weeks that we've shot some high school games?
Blue Spring South. We kind of talked about that last week. I went there week 1 for Missouri, and I was really impressed by how mobile their quarterback was, in and out of the pocket. They had a really great run game as well. So I liked what I saw from them, and they had a really dominant week 1 win over another really good team. But yeah,
Liberty North,
week,
yeah.
So
they're playing Lee Summit today.
Ooh, that's gonna be good.
Yeah, gonna be a good one. And then a big one in the game of the week, obviously with Lee Summit North with their coach resigning. There's been a lot going on there, but still, on the football field, they've been performing. Those guys, it's a good program. Yeah, they know what they're doing. Taking on Mill Valley, one of the best programs in the state of Kansas. That is going to be a good one. I'm going to be at St. James Academy against St. Thomas Aquinas. That's going to be another good one. We also have Olathe West against Blue Valley West, and we also learned that Blue Valley West has another Nagy on the team. So Tate Nagy went to KU. There's another Nagy we got some video of last week. I think he plays wide receiver, so we'll see what happens there. But always an exciting night, high school football, and to see some of these crossover games. Katie, I've seen Rockhurst these last couple weeks. I know you're going to see them. They have a couple D1 kids. But very exciting. Then let's talk about one game out there in Topeka. Katie, you came over here from Topeka, so you would know a little bit about the Kansas City schools. You know about the Topeka schools. Blue Valley on the road at Washburn Rural.
Yeah,
Give me some thoughts here.
I watched Blue Valley play last week because I went there, and they actually gave us our play of the night, which was it was a near interception that kind of just bobbled out of the defensive player's hands and into the hands of the tight end, who then took it all the way down for a 64-yard touchdown. So shout out Blue Valley. Yeah, they're going to be out in Topeka and my old stomping grounds, taking on one of their old 6A schools, Washburn Rural. I'm so excited to call these highlights tonight for the Junior Blues.
How is Waroo? Are they any good? I don't know anything about them.
They almost had a perfect season with this near 6A state title 2 years ago. They went 11-1, and they should have won their sub-state game, and then there were some questionable calls that were made towards the end of the game. They ended up losing it to Derby, who ended up, I believe, winning 6A state that year. But they almost went perfect. They were a super dominant team. They only won 3 games last year, so they didn't have the 2 hottest of a year. But they got some good returners this year, so question mark is still out. That's my analysis on my old high schools that I cover.
Well, kids and coaches, let's just take the adage out of that. Never put the game in the officials' hands. Leave no doubt. Take care of it yourself. You put it in the hands of the officials, anything can happen. But, all right, we got a great night coming up tonight. So see me, Katie, and Neil coming up on Friday Night Blitz. And then KC Sports Tonight tomorrow. Big show Saturday, Sunday. And then, of course, don't forget Price Chopper Game Day, 10 a.m. on Sunday. Sports Director Marlia Campbell will have that one for you with Neil and Katie live out there at Arrowhead as we get you ready for that Chiefs-Eagles game. All right, Katie, we have a little bit of time here. I'm going to put you on the spot. Chiefs-Eagles. Give me a winner and why.
If the defense plays the way that we know they can, Chiefs.
What's the score?
Ooh, I think it's going to be a tight one, and it's no team is going to score more than 30 points. I think we're going to have like a 27-24 type of affair.
Oh, wow.
Maybe like a game-winning field goal. Who knows?
That's unbelievable. Because, all right, I was going to go Eagles 27-20.
Ooh.
Guys,
27. It's a great number.
Yeah, the Chiefs, obviously we want them to win, but the Chiefs, they just aren't at full strength.
Yeah.
It is what it is. We saw them last week. The Chiefs need to prove me that, like that, the last couple of weeks, the last 2 times we've seen them, it's just been flat, low energy. I mean, the Eagles, they look like world beaters. I can't deny it. The Chiefs haven't looked like they want to look.
But I'm hoping that being back at home might add some juice back.
Hey, loudest stadium in the NFL. All you guys out there, get out there, be the 12th man, help the Chiefs. They're gonna need all the help they can get against the Eagles, a very talented football team. But hey, so are the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes has won 3 Super Bowls, and Andy Reid, I think, is a better coach than Nick Sirianni. So we're going to see what happens.
Neil Jones is going to be on the field. Maybe he can be the 12th man.
Yeah, Neil Jones. Hey, he used to be a wide receiver. He's our deep threat on KC Sports Tonight. That's what I call him. He's a big wide receiver with speed. He's our burner. So, all right, guys, we'll leave it on that note. So for Katie, I'm Mark. We'll see you on Friday Night Blitz and on KC Sports Tonight. Take care.